Hey Magic Makers, Mombierella here. Anime Houston was so amazing, so many great voice actors, and we're going to check out the Last Airbender panel.
How's everyone doing today? Alright, so who's ready for a Q&A panel with Dante and Michaela? If they would like to come on up.
Hey guys.
Hey guys, how you guys doing? Thank you for coming to the Avatar panel. I just got a thing on my phone, my Be Real.
I just did that.
Who wants to be on my Be Real right now? Let's do this to Be Real right now. We're the 2 minutes. We're the 2 minute zone. So just say what's up, y'all. Here we go. What's up? I'll get Michaela in there. Oh, you got it. We're good. Okay. Awesome. Thank you guys so much. The Be Real.
Alright guys, well thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. I hope you guys had a good morning, you had a good weekend so far. So yeah, you can just settle in. We'll just give a brief intro about who we are, even though you probably already know that. And then
sure, who are you, Michaela?
Who am I? You know, that's a great question.
That's a good question.
Who am I? I am Michaela Jo Murphy, aka Jessie Flower. Jessie Flower is the name you'll see in the credits of Avatar: The Last Airbender for voicing Toph Beifong. I gave that name to myself, and Mang in season 1. I gave that name to myself when I was 6 because people kept mispronouncing my name, so I gave myself a new identity. And then it was in lots of things, so here we are. So I got started in acting when I was about 5. I lived in LA with my mom. A couple friends were in some commercials, and I was like, that seems cool. And my mom's like, let's put you in a musical and see how you do. And I loved it. We got some headshots.
What musical was that?
Oliver.
Okay.
I was the happiest orphan ever. I was so happy to be there. I was with my little bowl. I was like, yes, this is life. Anyway, so yeah, and I got started.
I have questions.
Okay.
I have all these questions.
Oh, you have all these questions? No, ask away.
I was just thinking of Oliver. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. I mean, now I could probably play Nancy. Anyway. So I got started in commercials, and eventually I went through an awkward growing phase. My hair was cut really short. I had like 3 teeth missing. And my agent was like, hey, we have this new youth voiceover department. You should try that right now. Because the commercials kind of stopped happening for a second. It turned out that my mom sending me to bed with books anytime I demanded to stay up later came out to be in my advantage because I was a great reader, and as a kid, that's pretty much what they need. They're like, can you take direction and can you read the script? And if you can do those 2 things, that's most of the battle. And so I got started in additional voices and ADR. So my first gig was actually Finding Nemo. I did all the additional voices with little turtles and little fish. They're like, hey, let's go over there. All that background noise. And so I started in that and did that for a good 4 years or so. And then I started doing kind of the characters with names in Meet the Robinsons, Young Franny, Chaka, and Croc's New Groove, and then Mang and Toph in Avatar. So that's just a short and sweet-ish little intro of just my story and how I got into voice acting and who I am. So who are you, sir?
I was a breakdancer. Said in my panel the other day. Yeah, I was a breakdancer in the San Francisco Bay Area. And my name was Poppin' Fresh. My name was Poppin' Fresh because I could pop and I was fresh.
Jessie Flower and Poppin' Fresh. Our album drops December.
Then I went to Neverland and I started leading a gang out there called the Lost Boys. We did pretty good till I got killed.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
That's unfortunate. Captain killed me.
It's
and
rough,
then I went, that's rough. Then I wound up in the Fire Nation, and I was a banished prince. But then I became the Fire Lord. So I got my honor back.
So that's us.
Now this is us. This is the Avatar panel, and we're going to talk about voice acting, talk about Avatarverse, our experiences in the world. Obviously, a lot of you guys are here, so I mean, a lot of Avatar fans. So before we get the Q&A started, let's just get a quick, just ask quickly how many people here are representing the air nomads. I can hear cheers.
Yeah,
air nomads.
You guys are the Hufflepuffs, right?
Okay, how many people are here are repping the water tribe?
Lots of water, lots of
Some
fish
water
in here.
tribe,
Okay.
some water tribe out here in
Okay.
Houston. What about?
Who here is Earth Kingdom?
Wow, okay, a lot of Earth Kingdom in Houston.
My grounding friends. We're all very grounded, right?
I mean, one thing I know about Houston is it's hot outside. So, how many of y'all out here representing the Fire Nation? Okay, we got good representation of all the elements. I like that.
I feel like we could use a little bit more air, but that's okay.
Yeah.
They're probably gone. They're missing, like the Avatar.
They're gone.
We have to rebuild.
They're an iceberg.
They're in the rebuilding year
Yeah.
of the air nomads. But let's get into the show. We love the show. We've been around the show for many years now, and you guys have been around it. So let's talk. We have a microphone right here in the middle. So if anyone has any questions, you can kind of
Just
be
feel free
brave
to
and
line
stand
up.
in the middle. Let's talk.
Yeah.
What's going on?
What's going on, guys?
What's your name again?
James.
James. Good to see you again,
Good to
James.
see you guys.
We hung out yesterday.
I'm
Good to
going
see
to
you.
apologize to anybody that's left over from the previous panel. I already asked it. I'm just asking all the VAs. I've got an 11-year-old son who's made it into theater, one of the few spots that was fortunately available. As people who started off young in their acting careers, is there anything you might give that'd be different from the advice you'd give to an adult?
Right. Breakdance? No, I'm just playing. So you have a son or daughter?
Son.
Son, awesome.
Consider the name change carefully.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
No,
You know, it's funny enough, you say his name, and his name is Jackson.
Okay.
And
Awesome.
it was when we just happened to be rewatching, unfortunately, the M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Oh no.
Yeah, I know. Jackson Rathbone playing Sokka.
Oh dear.
I just thought, that it clicked. It's like, I like Jackson. How about this name
I
for
like
our kid?
Jackson too. Jackson's a great
It
name.
is a good name.
But anyways, that was a side note.
But your advice, real advice.
Advice. I started when I was 10, so he's 11. First of all, it's like we started so young. She started when she was 5. Part of it is like, if it's not, my mom was like, if it's no longer fun, like you can leave anytime you want. You know what I'm saying? But it's really on the kid. Like when me and my brothers, seriously, we were breakdancers, right? And a lot of parents will ask me about, my kid wants to get into acting and this and that, what should I do? I said, this is the deal. If they're really into it, you don't really gotta do anything. Me and my brothers are breakdancers. My parents aren't breakdancers. They had no idea what we were doing. We were up all night, learning routines, doing routines. I'd fall asleep in the garage on the panel, working it out, and then my mom would, the support of my parents would bring us to breakdancing competitions, and we did all these things, started dancing for San Francisco 49ers and the Oakland A's, and we couldn't have done any of that without their support, but they didn't know what we were doing. When we started acting, they had no idea what we were doing. I always compare it to kids that play sports, right? Like a lot of kids out there play baseball or basketball, and they're doing all these programs. You look at a young Kobe Bryant, his dad goes in his bed, Kobe's not in his bed. He don't gotta worry where Kobe's at. He knows where Kobe's at. Kobe's on the basketball court. Same thing with us. No one forced us to go to acting school or do theater or break dance or dance. It was like, that's what we do. My parents were like, we don't even know what they're doing. They're just becoming successful at what they're doing because that's what we do. So if your kid's gonna do it and they're really a push and the drive has to come from them. And then as a parent, it's about support. And if you could support them in their doings, whether it's acting or basketball or baseball or football, my parents, I love my parents for supporting us even blindly. What's crazy is my parents moved from San Francisco to LA for me and my brothers and my sister as break dancers. We didn't become actors yet. I was like, wow. And I was 10 years old. I'm like, how the heck would they do that?
And they could also see it.
But you're so young. You also moved at a very young age. And so I love, when I give up to my parents, I'm like, I don't know if I could kind of uproot my life from all my friends and family and to support my kids. I don't have kids, so I don't know. Until you have kids and you understand, you see that light in them, and then you're like, I'm gonna support them. It's really big, and I really love my parents for that.
It's also great. How many brothers?
It's 5 of us.
5 of you, yeah. It's also such a powerful, I grew up, I was an only child. So it's such something that I wish I could experience, but I'm also grateful for my own experience, just because like you guys have that's a solid crew. Having 5 people who are like...
4 brothers, 4 boys and 1 girl.
Okay.
Yeah.
But did she breakdance with you?
Yeah, she did, actually.
Yeah. Okay, so the whole crew, like, of you together, related, you guys get along.
We're like the Jacksons. We like the Jacksons.
Yeah, there you
I always
go.
say something like the Jacksons, but with Filipino, like Michael and Marlon and Jermaine and Tito.
Dang, that's so cool. Yeah, I mean, the parent support thing is huge, and you had, you know, more drive. I feel like you were so focused in like what you just loved, you absorbed, and you kept working and working and working. I was a little ADHD. I was just like, I want to play piano, and I want to do dance, and I want to ice skate, and I want to do whatever. And so it was very much scattered, and my mom was like feeling the strain. So she sat me down and she's like, okay, listen.
But your mom's an artist too.
Yes, we moved to LA because she wanted to live in the sunshine and she wanted to be an artist, an actress. And so she was like, I can't do it all. And technically, neither can you. You can do everything you want, but just not all at once. So what, do we want to do gymnastics right now, or do we want to do acting? We gotta pick one because we have to pick. And so that's, you know, I think being real with your kid, like we were very much partners. If something was too expensive, if she was stretched too thin, if it was whatever, it was very much like a partnership of like, all right, we gotta pick this, this, and this. We can do this today, but then that means we can't do this tomorrow. And so I felt very much included in like, it was me who wanted to do it, and working with, you know, my mom to make it happen. It wasn't like she was just catering to my every need, or that she was forcing me to do it. So don't undermine your own role in just whatever he wants to do. And you know, you know him best. Like my mom knew, I need food. Like I need food. As soon as she saw like the attitude shift, she'd be like, stop. We gotta stop the recording, we gotta stop filming.
Get your Snickers.
Needs to eat. No, that would make it worse. Real food. And so that's like you know, knowing your kids' things. If they like really gotta have a certain kind of a tease, a type of dinner the night before that makes them, you know, those are the things that like help your kid the most. And advice for Jackson, yeah, just keep doing it while it's fun. You know, if you're still having fun, but also it is a business, right? It's not just fun.
There's going to be sacrifice.
Yeah, and you're not going to make it to everybody's birthday party. You're not going to be able to go to Six Flags with your cousin. You know, you're going to miss
that girl in 8th grade
stuff.
dance that you can't make it because you can't get upset. She's just crying.
Exactly.
You feel bad.
So, but those things are, and you can, and those are real experiences. That's why I stopped acting and did like high school and normal college, because I thought I wanted to do just like more of a stereotypical life of like having a high school
I want to be
experience.
normal. I know. That fight happens.
And so those are if at a certain point he's just like, I really want to go to Six Flags with my cousin, then be like, all right, do you want to do that instead of this? That's okay. Like, you don't want them to then grow up and just be like, I'm so mad, I did all this other stuff, you know. So yeah, just be real. They're little, we were little, but they're still very much like functioning and equal human beings with full thoughts and feelings. So just make sure you're in tune with those, I feel like, as he grows up.
And good luck on the journey. Yes. Good luck on the journey.
Thank you, guys.
Starting us off strong. We'll talk for like 20 minutes. We'll try to go faster. Go ahead.
Hi, Kevin here.
Hey, you.
What's up, Kevin?
So, my question to you guys is, as I'm pretty sure you guys are aware how much of an impact, you know, Avatar has in like our the geek culture, I guess you could say. What has been your guys' favorite like episode to record, or your favorite moment while being a part of the show?
I think we mentioned this yesterday as far as favorite episode in general. I love Tales of Ba Sing Se, we both do, just because, you know, it's Tales of Ba Sing Se. How can you not love that episode? And I also love The Library with the creepy owl, and then when Toph can't sandbend because she's like, what's happening? Yeah, I appreciate those moments of weakness, for sure.
Yeah, and I'm going through the show right now with Jenna Varney for our podcast, Break the Elements. And so
my episode just happened.
Yeah, which you can just hear the latest episode of Michaela Murphy on it, which is amazing. And I've been going through each episode, and so I'm really, this is my first time really watching everything in chronological order. So we're in the middle of book 2 right now, and so I say so far, I mean, the library was amazing. Blind Bandit's amazing. Zuko alone, super. Watching him, so good. The Storm, watching The Storm again was like, wow. I love that one also. So I'm learning, I'm like relearning things as I'm going through, but it's really, yeah, very impactful.
To record, and this might be a little cop-outy, but the finale, kind of the dual dual episode finale, oftentimes we would record alone or maybe with one or two other people, but that last episode they really tried to cram as many people into the booth. I think there were like 8 microphones, so I think it was you, me, and then Azulla, Katara, Sokka, Suki. I think it was just so many people. So then hearing those pages read live, it kind of was like, it's all happening at the same time. So that was really cool.
Yeah, and then like my most memorable recorder is probably first meeting Mark Hamill.
Oh well, yeah.
Mark Hamill. I mean, when Mark Hamill walks in the room and you don't realize he's gonna walk. I mean, you don't know. It's like Mark's gonna play your father. Like, okay, can't wait to meet Mark. And then it's Mark Hamill, and then you're like, that Mark. Pretty phenomenal day. It's crazy.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. Hello, what's your name?
Hello, I'm Kayla.
Hi, Kayla.
My question is, you mentioned yesterday that you had worked on other projects with the late Mako.
Yeah.
Dante. I just wanted to ask, what is your favorite memory or moment of working with Mako?
Man, there's so many different ones. Like I said, he's played my father and my uncle so many times in my career, and just talking about life and career over my career. But doing Avatar, we used to fantasize about possibly doing this on screen together because they're such great characters. One of the funny things, he was very nervous about singing. And it's crazy because he was in Pacific Overtures and he did this really big Broadway play back in like the 70s. But then doing like Leaves from the Vine and stuff like that, he was like so nervous to sing it. He's like, I don't want to sing this. And we're in the booth and I'm watching him. And it was just beautiful to see him perform that song and do all those roles. So, he's just been someone that has always taught me, just through what he's done, his career, like to keep going, what he's created. He created this place called East West Players, which is the longest running theater for people of color in the country. And it's a theater in Los Angeles that I also grew up in. And I did plays in, and I wrote plays in, and he's one of the founders of that, right? So even in his passing, he kind of taught me like in a very Uncle Ira way, like it's about passing it on to the next generation. And so that led me to create my production company, which does Asian American films, and about creating vehicles for the next generation, stories for the next generation to pass it on. So it's Uncle Ira, Thank you.
So you guys say you already work together in the same booth, right? But for scenes you all work together, essentially what's your favorite scene? Sorry. What's your favorite scene working together? Like as Toph and Zuko.
I mean, we worked together a lot. She was so young. She was a kid. She was like 12. I remember her mom would wait outside for her. She was young. I mean, Jack and May, we were all kind of hung out a lot more together because they were a little older.
Yeah, at that time you didn't get people's numbers. Nobody had Instagram. They didn't have Facebook, so there was no
Twitter,
way for me
nothing.
to connect with them. And I was
can't ask a 12-year-old for her number.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Regardless of any adventuring you may have owed me. But no, so I don't really remember as far as actual recording memory goes. I was alone often, or I had maybe Jack.
Or you come in and then you come into your lines and roll, because you're like a kid.
Yeah, and so it was maybe a 20-minute session. So I don't know if we ever fully recorded, aside from I think that last episode. I really don't know.
I mean, she came out a lot. The way it works out, a lot of times you do the whole episode together, right? Well, me, Jack, and they would do, and you sit there for 4 hours or something like that. But when you're a kid, when you're the kid, you either coming from school or you gotta do school because it's a set.
Yeah.
So you're just gonna come in and do your lines and then roll out,
Yeah, every other Tuesday. I think that was my at 3:30.
So we'd see little Jessie come in. Hi, Jessie.
Yeah.
Do your lines and bye, Jessie.
Bye. Hi, bye. Yeah, and I didn't know what. I don't even know the outer workings. I just assumed everybody comes in like this. I don't know.
No, we were there the whole time.
I don't know.
And she would just come in and out. And then one day she was like, her name is Jessie Flower. And something happened. I'm Jessie, and then her mom said something else. And I was like, what's your name? And she's like, no, Jessie's like my stage name. I said, well, what's your real name? Like, what's your real name? She's like, Michaela Murphy. We went, what? Your real name is Michaela Murphy? Which is like the most awesome name ever.
Well, thank you.
What the heck?
People kept see, Dante, I feel like you haven't gotten that many like wrong pronunciations.
I know.
Like
No, but Michaela Murphy is like this beautiful Irish name.
Well,
and
it's
like
back
this little
to
girl.
it.
It's
So,
back to it.
yeah,
No, it's just funny to see this little girl and you're like, oh my gosh, you're really Michaela Murphy. That's
You didn't know.
It's a very grown up name, but it's beautiful.
It is a very grown-up name. Maybe that's the reason I didn't like it either. I was like, I feel like I need to be like a country singer with releasing my third
Jessie
album
Flower.
with this name.
This is Jessie
so
Flower.
so then I chose a stripper name instead.
I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to say it to
I
a
turned
12-year-old.
18 and I was like, this no
I
longer
thought
fits
about
me.
it.
It was
I was
cute
like-
when I was 12, and I'm like, oh, I draw a flower above the eye. And then
I don't think that 12-year-old knows that's a stripper name.
No.
And I didn't want to tell her that I knew it was.
But anyway. Sorry, we didn't answer your question.
We're just talking.
Yeah, we just...
That's fine, thank you.
Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome, I'm sorry. Yeah, we didn't really have many recording memories today.
My turn now.
Hello, what's your name?
It's Kirsten.
What's up, Kirsten?
Okay, so I know that sometimes people, when you guys go in the booth, sometimes the fighting scenes,
Yeah.
the sound effects like the grunts,
Yeah.
groans, make people crack up in the booth. I was wondering, aside from that, what is some of the most difficult scenes to film
In general or for Avatar?
in general?
Okay. Yeah, so aside from efforts and sound effects like that, anytime, bodies are bodies. Sometimes you wake up and you have a session that day and your throat isn't the most cooperative, maybe your range, maybe you've got a little something in your sinuses, whatever. So figuring out how to navigate that can be really tricky, especially if you're doing a character voice that is very specific. So if you're speaking like this and you know she's supposed to be super high, but your range isn't quite doing it, you have to kind of like figure out a way to push it out. So I feel like mainly just health and like throat things make it like those have been the most challenging things for me to grapple with, aside from like the efforts and like the fighting noises. Because other than that,
Yeah, it's all.
It's been pretty okay to deal with.
I mean, love scenes when you're doing like love scenes.
I don't mind that.
It's always, but it's cool, but it's also very awkward. Sometimes. I mean, I grew up as an actor, like since I was very young. So I actually kissed a girl on stage before I kissed a girl in real life, which is crazy.
I didn't know that.
Except for, it's good practice. You know what I'm saying? When you have someone directing you through it and how to do it, because you're a kid, you're a teenager, and you're like, I gotta kiss this girl. You're like in your mind, like I've never kissed a girl, but now you're getting directed, and now that you have line, now you don't have to worry about what to say because you know what you're going to say because it's in the script, right? And then you're like, should I do this? I pause, and the director's like, stop, and it's like, no, now put your hand here, no, look at her lips, hold a beat, look at her lips. I'm like, okay, that's a good note. And you go through the whole thing, and you go through the kiss and everything, and so when it's time to do it in real life,
You were ready to
you're
go.
not ready, you're still nervous, but you had some practice runs that were, you know what I'm saying?
That's really why Jackson wants to get the theater. I mean,
So it's always awkward to do something that's like, intimate, that's, because you're just acting, and so, but you get used to it.
So was your second and third kiss also on stage?
I'm trying to think, we were doing a lot of kissing in that acting school, but,
When was your first real kiss? Do you remember?
I was still a teenager, we were all teenagers.
Yeah.
It was shortly after that, but yeah.
Around the same time.
Around the
There you
same
go.
time.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Kirsten. I forgot about that story.
That's so funny. I didn't know.
Hey, what up, Dante? It's
What
Kevin.
up? How you doing? What's your name?
Kevin?
Kevin, what's going on?
Good, man. Just a question. While you were filming Peter Pan,
Yeah,
so how was it like working with Robin Williams?
it's great, man. I mean, rest in peace, Robin Williams, first and foremost, but he's just, the short answer is he's the genie from Aladdin. That's who he is. I mean, he really is the genie. Like, when he's around, magic happens. And it was just wonderful to go to, work with him like nearly a whole year and just go to the set every day and like really see how he does his work and how he is as a person and as a human, and just joyful and knows everybody's names on the set and really treats everybody with so much just dignity, and he's beautiful. It was really beautiful. And then to be able to be on screen with him and get to play on camera with him, he's just phenomenal. So he's the genie forever.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kevin.
Also, my sister, she's over there next to the guy with the black tank top.
What's up?
Oh, hi.
What's
She
up?
wants to take a picture, bro.
Hi, sister.
You know, just after this.
Hi, sister.
Thank you.
Welcome. Hi. Thank you, microphone adjuster.
Hello.
My name is Carolina.
Hi, Carolina.
Hello. So Avatar: The Last Airbender is one of the reasons I became and am studying to become an animator. And right now we are, in my senior film group, are making a film called True Treasure, and it is to be done by May. And in that we are doing everything: animating, directing, producing, and also voice acting in it as well.
Wow.
What, oh yeah, you can follow us on Instagram, True Treasure,
Let's
film,
go.
you know, just love putting it out there. What tips, advices, or exercises can you give us to get into the characters and really bring out the characters within and like the voices of those characters?
So this is completely, the whole thing is original, correct? As far as scripts, animation, all that jazz.
Yeah.
So my biggest thing, just kind of from an actor's perspective, that then helped me a lot when I focused on screenwriting in college, is that if you're having a hard time connecting with your character, return to your script. Your lines are your fuel, and it should feel easy. Mike and Brian made our job so easy. People are like, I love how you portray this character. And I'm like, thanks. It was probably the easiest thing for me to do because they set everything up. Everything was thought out beforehand. So all I had to do was step in and just kind of lock into being present in the moment, and then everything else fell into place. So if you feel like something is a little off, or you feel like you're not getting the sound that you want, check your dialogue. Is that something that you would say? What are the strengths and weaknesses of that character? Are those being reflected in the line, or did you pick a line that's more filler and it's not really progressing the plot or a character trait, right? So writing is huge, but as far as just sound goes, just play with it. Like with auditions, I kind of just stand in my closet for a second and I'm like, I look at the image that hopefully I get. If I don't get an image, then so goes it. I just try my best. But if I get a little bit of a sketch, I just play with noises. Does she look scruffy like this? Or is she super sneaky? Or is it just my regular voice? Or is it more like this? Is she like very flowy? Like I just play and I see what clicks just by looking, and then I try recording it. I listen and I'm like, did I do what I think I did? No, or yes, and then I just try again. So be comfortable listening to your own voice in a very non-judgmental way and just seeing if it's kind of what you want, and just have fun with it.
Yeah, and just be there, be in the present moment, just like really try to put yourself into whatever the character is doing, like really. Like there comes a time where you just like, don't act anymore, like don't act, just actually do it. Like, if the character's mad, then just go be mad. Like, we all have a million things to be mad about. We just don't allow ourselves to be mad. Or if the character's sad, allow yourself to just be sad for a hot second. You know what I'm saying? Like, there comes a time in acting where you just don't act anymore and you just do it.
And do you mind waving and saying hi to Team True Treasure?
Yeah, hey, hi, Team True Treasure.
Hi, Team True Treasure.
Good luck on the journey.
Yeah, break a leg, tinkle toes.
What's crazy is years ago I was playing, I played League of Legends online, and then I was playing this one crew, and my guy Butterscotch, I still play with today, in Toronto, and we would stay up all night, and I'm on the West Coast, he's on the East Coast, and he was, like you, in animation school. He's like, I'm in animation school. Oh, cool, man. He's like, I'm just taking some time off in the middle of the night to play a few games of League with you. We played League for years. Now, we still play League, and now he graduated from animation school, worked on a few different cartoons that we know of, and now he's like running a new show for Cartoon Network. So what I'm telling you and your crew is like, it's real. This is what we do. It's the process of what's gonna happen, but I've seen it happen in real time, in real life, where people go from where you're to actually now running shows on places like Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, and so Good luck on the journey, for real. It will really happen to some of you. We will work together in the future. I look forward to it.
Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Mombierella.
Mombierella. Zombie Mombi Cinderella.
So the show's been just an epic thing, an epic journey. I mean, you even mentioned yesterday in your panel how, you thought you were just a bad guy character, and then it kind of had a redemption story. And I think even Toph had a lot of character growth. I think they all did, really.
Yeah.
And so there's like a lot of seriousness to it, but there's also a lot of humor. And the humor, I think, is what really gave it its heart. Of all the lines in it, though, what would you say is your favorite line? Would it be, one of your characters' lines, or even one of the other characters?
Well, I'm a sucker for Uncle Iroh any day of the week. He's all of our therapists and father figures and uncles and grandfather, whatever. And so I've had the pleasure of being with Greg Baldwin, who is Uncle Iroh Part 2, who does such a wonderful job and has a great Mako connection story. I'll save that if you haven't met him yet for him to tell you. But I'm gonna mess this up because I will. But it's something about, if you look for the light, you will always find it. If you look for the dark, that is all you will ever see. It's just such it's real. And it's so weird. The last couple years, same thing. And it's such a fine line of not wanting to be disrespectful to those who are having a bad day, or be disrespectful to those having a good day. But the brain is a finicky little thing. And so if you look for the light, you'll find it. And so that's like a very helpful line for me.
That's pretty good. That's a pretty good one. I don't know. I like imitating Uncle Iroh. I like when Zuko does, "You must search within yourself to save yourself from your other self. Only then will your true self reveal itself." I like that, Zuko. We're doing our best. We're doing our best.
Hello. Hi. So lately, I've been rewatching the show and noticing all the traumatic background stories.
Yeah.
So who would y'all say has the most pitiable story? Out of all the main characters, I'd say.
Aang?
They're all,
Maybe, I don't know,
he was frozen for a long time.
He lost his entire everything.
He lost everything.
rough.
Well, the thing about it when we go, because I'm doing it also in the podcast, it's these are, it's a cartoon, but what the crazy thing is these are children from war. That's really what they are.
Yeah.
And these are all, there's a lot of wars that go on that are going on around the world, have been going on for years, and then this is the trauma of kids from war that lose parents, that are forever changed in this world, and I think, like you said, they all have trauma in their history, their young history, because they're all teenagers.
I could give you a curveball answer and say technically maybe Azulla, because she's the most disconnected from being a normal person.
I was thinking her too.
It's just clearly the deepest, in denial, have to be perfect, trying to live up to that, hating on everybody else. She must be exhausted. We watched her be exhausted and unravel at the end. So, in one sense, everybody else kind of came to truth with their pain and their grief, and they kind of worked through it and carried it with them, and she just ignored most of it. So honestly, that might be...
Azulla always lies.
I know. You would know.
Azulla always lies. I love Azulla. I hate Azulla, but I love Azulla. Yeah. So I think that's part of the heart of the gang, is that they all have that kind of crazy backstories that kind of bond them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Hello again.
Hello, Jedi.
Your fiance couldn't be here, right?
No, man, sorry.
Am I remembering that correctly? Okay.
So my question is, as y'all started acting, did y'all ever kind of cringe looking and hearing your own voices? Because I love making videos. I've got a couple 100,000 followers, and that is one thing that I just cannot get past.
Yeah.
Is that something that goes away with time, or is it just you live with it?
I don't watch anything I do. I don't really watch it. Years later, you can kind of watch and you're kind of far away, oh, that was cool. That's cool.
It helps if you don't have to edit your own.
See, I do.
Yeah,
And
right. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I feel like for me, it's mainly singing. Like whenever I was trying to work on like musical theater auditions, and I was trying to just listen to my audition and see if it went. That made me cringe more than anything else. I didn't mind watching myself act, talk, dance, whatever. But the singing, yeah. I think that's a sensitive point for me. I don't know why.
You put different hats on because when you're acting, it's like you do not want to be wondering or sensing what you're looking like or sounding like. You just want to be in it and just do it. Like, we're in here and we're doing it. I mean, of course you understand where the camera's at and there's things that you learn technique-wise, but your mind is focused on, like, the person you're talking to and what you're doing. Whereas when you got to put your director hat on, then all of a sudden you're looking at everything in the screen and how it's working and how it's going to work in the big order of the story. Even as an actor, you're not even worrying about other parts of the story. You're like worrying about this moment right now. But then when you're directing and you're looking at it, you got to take that actor's hat off and put the director's hat on and really try to have a wider, spectrum of what you're looking at and where it's going to work and how it works. And then hopefully when you're looking at it that way, you're not really the ego of yourself and how do I look and do I look good in this picture? Like, you're just trying to serve. Now you're trying to serve the story objectively and go, well, is this working? Is this not working? Is this a take? Is this what I want it to feel like?
Try sitting in your different personalities as much as you can.
It's awkward. Like, let's not, no, come on. Who likes to look at themselves all day doing stuff like, oh.
That's what I do.
Narcissist. I'm good. Next thing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello, a whole crew.
Yeah, crew.
Look like the baddie crew. It's like Azulla.
Like, what is this? Is it like,
May, Ty Lee up in here. What y'all doing? Should I run? Should I leave now?
How are y'all doing?
Good. What's your guys' names?
Great.
My name is V.
What's up, V?
I'm Emma. I'm Marissa.
Hi, Emma. Marissa. What's up?
Arissa.
Arissa.
So I just wanted to let you guys know that y'all's characters helped a lot of us throughout our times. I could really relate to Toph and wanting to take care of everything myself and doing everything by myself, and Zuko just being lost and not knowing where to how to find myself. But watching y'all's show really helped a lot of us go through our own struggles. But I just wanted to thank y'all for that. And my question is, if y'all had to choose a character y'all relate to most, then who would it be?
Well, first of all, thank you for your sweet comment. It is a pleasure to be a part of such a great series and such a great character. And I feel you, and I also feel like there is a certain tie to everybody who voiced each of their characters. Like, the stubborn thing, and I was like, I can do it by myself. I don't need any friends. I'm like, no, Michaela, you need friends. It's okay. You can let people help you. It's okay. But I think I probably, it's kind of a mix of Toph's attitude and stubbornness for sure, independence, yes, and a little bit of Ty Lee's, I'm just gonna join the circus. That's kind of me and my mom, running to LA and do acting, a little bit crazy. And I don't know, maybe a turtle duck. I'm just kidding.
Nah, Zuko for sure. I love Zuko. But not Zuko aside. Jet.
Yeah, I mean,
Morocco Jet.
You weren't gonna say it. I was gonna say it.
I like that little thing he has in his mouth at all times.
Yeah,
he's a little, we don't know if he's good or bad. We don't know what's going on with Jet.
What are you saying, Dante?
Yes, B.
Also, one more thing before y'all finish. Can you guys take my B reel? You two, just you two in it?
Oh, yeah, hold up the thing.
And, did y'all know how to do, where you take the photo and then you flip it so you're both?
No, I don't know how to do that.
I do. So you want to see both pictures? Yes. You got
How do you do that?
A little flip button.
Is this like a little trick action?
No. I don't know.
I barely know I always miss my B-reel.
Okay.
So how do we do it?
All right, ready? Your mom's calling, but I'm going to tell her no.
Oh.
Hi, Mom. We don't like parrots, all right? All right, ready? All right, so just stay here. Okay? And then we're going to change our face.
Little Be Real hat there. Didn't know. Hello, what's up? What's your name?
Yo, what's up? I'm Mason.
Oh, Mason. What's up, Mason?
Do you have lots of jars? Sorry.
That was good. That was
Bad.
good.
No, it wasn't. It was bad. Go ahead.
Okay, so I know the voice actor for Azulla Grey, Delisle.
Grey Delisle.
She's gone on record to say that on the final episode of the series, whenever she was like chained up to the sewer and stuff, she's gone on record to say that she'll never reenact that scene for anyone again because she had to really like dig deep to do that, to get that out. Has there been any scenes in your media career that you really had to dig deep for something that you don't want to do again?
Yeah, I mean, there's.
I mean, not in a bad way. Just
Exhausting.
Yeah, no, there's a bunch of. I did a movie. I was just in Hawaii like last week, which is a great place. I love Hawaii. It's like a second home. But then I did a crazy movie there where I played this heroin addict dude who ends up like pimping out his girlfriend for drugs. And it's a horrible film. I mean, it's a great film. It's a horrible situation about the local kids out there that end up on the streets and the things they have to go through, and guy ends up getting raped in the film. And it's like, and I was like looking at the streets where we're shooting. I was like, oh my God, that film was I was so sad. Like for a month of shooting, I would just go home every night and just sit in the hotel room and just be like depressed, you know? So I mean, and that's part of the job. Like you go through these things, and you kind of gotta live it for that time that you gotta live it, and then. Yeah, it's hard. You don't want to go back there when you're doing it. Right. You know, I was like lost like 20 pounds, and it was a rough one. It was a rough film.
I was part of a musical that went to Fringe Festival in New York, and it was similar, not fully drugs, but like mental health related, and I had to just do it was okay. That probably was what made it so exhausting, is that like we didn't need half of that musical, but it was a little too long. And so it was just, she never really got fully better, so it was just constantly this and this and this. And so I was always just dead tired at the end of that, and I always just felt like a crazy person. So yeah, I wasn't necessarily sad when I was like, and we're done with that. Yay. I also had purple hair at the time, and my scalp is probably grateful that I'm not bleaching it anymore. So
but it's part of the job. Sometimes you have to do those characters, do those scenes, you got to go there, and I can understand why Gray doesn't want to go back there for that.
No, especially for that one. And she'll tell you, she just, brings out, kind of like you were saying earlier, she's really just in the moment. She's just being real and present and trying to bring up as much authentically as possible. So she like really went all in, as we all heard. So yeah, I don't blame her.
And then the movie you were talking about were you voice acting that, or
no? It's on screen.
Okay.
It's on screen.
What's the name?
It's called Paradise Broken.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi.
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 What's your names?
Simon.
And I'm Imogen. We've actually already met Toph.
Well, how are you doing?
How you doing?
What's poppin'?
How you doing?
How you doing?
I heard that there was gonna be like Avatar, Last Airbender animated movie about them in their adult years. I just want to know if like you guys are gonna be in that.
Well, we don't know. I mean, I know there's movies going to come out. They're working on it. We don't know. You know, on the podcast, I'm like, me and Jen we're like the news reporters for the Avatar. So as soon as we know, we'll kind of put out more information. At this point, we don't know. This is kind of like putting it together, and we'll see what happens.
All right.
Yeah.
It's so early. I mean, you just
so
announced
early.
that like
we just announced it
about
San Diego Comic-Con. Yeah. Like 3 weeks ago, San Diego Comic-Con. So they're working on it. There's gonna be a lot of different things coming out. So we're looking forward to a lot of different things coming up from the Avatarverse.
Sorry to not be more helpful.
I know.
All right. Thank you.
Sure.
What's going on?
Hi. Hi, Michaela. Hi, Dante. Nice to meet you. My name is Momo. In order to ask my question, I need to tell a little bit about myself, actually. So, by day, I'm a lawyer, and then by night, I train Chinese martial arts called Wushu.
Amazing.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
Are you Batman?
Sometimes people call me Shang-Chi instead, but like the brown version of Shang-Chi.
Brown version of
That or
Shang-Chi?
well, sometimes Daredevil's more accurate.
Daredevil's a lawyer. My bad. Are you Daredevil?
I'm just not blind though. I can see it. It's
Okay.
fine. So I guess like my question is like, or not my question. So when I tell people what I do, the only way I can explain it is by using a reference point. And so I have to explain like, well, this part of Chinese martial arts is kind of like, have you seen Avatar? I asked them like, okay, have you seen Avatar?
Yeah.
It's okay. So Southern style, like Southern Fist or Nanchuan or Hung Gar is earthbending. And then like Long Fist or Northern Fist is firebending. And then waterbending would be Tai Chi, and then airbending is Bagua. And like that's what I have to explain to my friends. And I think to myself, wait a minute, were the voice actors or anyone that actually, any of the voice actors, would they ever explain about the origins of martial arts for each of their styles? And then were they even shown any of the moves and how to do them? So I guess that's my question is like, did that explanation ever happen, or did they just tell you, no, just read the lines?
Not at the beginning. I went to San Diego Comic-Con 2014. Yes, I believe 2014, and they had one of the martial artists who helped like the animators do like the exact style, the exact shape of everything. He would like do a move and like hold it so they could animate it so it'd be accurate, all that jazz. So that's actually when I kind of got the breakdown of exactly how the different styles kind of looked, what they were called. I knew that there were differences, and I like read it and talked about it lightly, but we didn't get like a full breakdown of like full origin story, if that makes sense. So we were lightly briefed, but then I got a more in-person kind of fuller brief much later in 2014 when I was at San Diego Comic-Con, and we did like I think we did like 4 kind of moves in a row just to like practice stepping through some earthbending, which was really cool. I do not remember them, or else I would do them for you. It's been too long.
I can do a pose with you if you want.
Show me. Go wild. Did they ever tell you anything, Dante?
Yeah, I mean, I was around from the beginning, and I knew Sifu Kisu.
There it is. Yeah, that looks pretty accurate. Oh, okay. Ooh. Oh, you're going. So you should just be an Earth Rumble. What are we at now? 23? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Do you want to do it with me?
No.
We don't.
No, but
yes, but also I was already like, we're gonna try to speed through the people behind you.
I'm so sorry.
I would, yes.
We would also need to clear the room a little bit.
That is a good point.
Yeah.
I also need a stretch.
No, but I think she was really young, so when we were there Sifu Kisu at the beginning was teaching us a lot of the stuff, and Mike and Brian, we talked about all the styles as it was going on, and I actually, studied a little bit with Sifu Kisu at the beginning as we were kind of putting it all together and learning how, I loved how they approached the material. So the whole thing with representation and about things that go on, like Mike and Brian, they're white guys that created the show. It's very Asian inspired, anime inspired, but the way they went about it and the way they continue to go about it is with respect and with detail. And when we're doing stories, we all know when we're doing Hollywood, there's a lot of things going on with, casting this or casting that, telling stories from this point of view, that point of view. It's all fiction. You know what I'm saying? These are made up stories, new stories, but to approach another person's culture with respect, or if you approach a character, if that's not necessarily the culture you come from, which you don't have to be, this is not documentary, we're all playing different characters in different places, but to approach these things with respect and with detail is all I think we ask of each other, not to go into it and just kind of be willy-nilly about talking about certain places, things, or being inspired by things. And so going through it when they were first doing the styles, it was incredible how detailed they were about it, and how martial artists talk about the styles that they see in the show and how detailed, whether it be Tai Chi or, Shaolin, or the moves are there. Like it's phenomenal. So I love how Mike and Brian have gone about it and continue to go about creating this world for us.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
So we got a few minutes. We're gonna go quick.
Yeah, we'll try to do a little bit of a fire round and get through.
We have like 9 minutes. Let's see how many questions you can get through in 9 minutes.
Yeah.
What's your name?
Hi, I'm Jessica.
Hi, Jessica.
Hi. Aside from your own projects, are there any animes or TV shows that you might want to guest star in?
Anyone that wants to hire me.
Yeah. No, there's so many great shows out there. I mean,
I'd love to be a part of like the Sailor Moon.
Sailor Moon would be cool.
Somehow. That was like the first thing I found, like comics at a yard sale when I was 4, and I was like, this is cool. So that was like first intro. So that would be cool one day.
Totally. And I made some anime stuff. I mean, I love Demon Slayer. I love Attack on Titan. I like friends that do those dubs, and it's like, I love to find a cool character in there. I mean, I got to do some stuff on Star Wars, and Star Wars is like our first fandom for a lot of people, for me, for sure. And so being a part of the things that, I grew up with is really exciting to be a part of. And then, I don't know, everyone wants to do a superhero voice. You want to do something in DC
Disney
universe.
princess, that's not anime.
Maybe like I've auditioned for Robin so many times.
Oh, yeah?
I never got Robin.
It'll happen.
I lost it to Jack DeSena one time.
Really?
I said, Jack got it. No, but I played Karate Kid and he played Robin in this other DC thing we did together. So there's all these universes that you want to be a part of, and hopefully in the upcoming years we get to voice some stuff in it. We'll see. Thank you. Hello. Look at that shirt. Represent for the gang. Rep for the gang.
I'm Victoria. I'm here with my girls, with Mercedes and Lolly. Hello. I gotta represent for all of them.
Represent for the gang. Come on.
Am I too loud?
No,
you're not. Get up in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I have a question. Obviously. I guess what were your thoughts whenever you first read the script on your characters? Did it resonate with you automatically, or did you learn to kind of resonate with them? And also to your nation, did you resonate with the nation that you got with, or were you kind of like?
First of all, Zuko was bald, with a ponytail, and with a big scar on his face, and I was like, who is this guy? Like, what is this dude?
It's okay, he was so cute.
And I was like, Zuko? I remember my audition, I was like, it's like Danny Zuko? Who are you talking about? Zuko. And not that I did not resonate with him, I just thought he was some kind of villain. Like, who is this guy in this bad haircut? But he grew on me, and his hair grew. And I came to love him like everybody else. And as far as the Fire Nation, yeah, I always rock with the Fire Nation.
Yeah, you do. I feel like you do.
I rock with the Fire Nation for sure. What about you?
I definitely, we don't get like tons of info ahead of time, so you usually get the script for the episode maybe like a few days or a week beforehand, and you can read through it or not. Up to you, they send it to you. And so Toph kind of, she eased her way in, and obviously Blind Bandit was kind of her first big presence, and so it's funny because I came in season 2, but I didn't have cable, so I didn't know that there was already season 1. I didn't know that the show. I didn't even know it was the same show that I had voiced Mang in. I wasn't aware of the connection for a bit because so much time had passed, and so I just was like, "Cool, I'm a main character in this show," and I just didn't understand. And then I finally filled in the gaps with season 1 happening and started to piece everything together. And then I was like, oh, that's so cool. Okay, now I'm part of this whole bigger thing. But I clicked pretty immediately, and as I think Mike and Brian kind of say, if you have one of those big art books, when I was voicing Mang, they were just like, I think that's our Toph. Just me and kind of my natural elevated sassiness, just right in the pocket of what they were looking for, and I knew it was great. I never had to inhibit the attitude when I went into record for Toph. I was like, all right, let's get our feet dirty and let's be sassy. It was a lot of fun. I definitely clicked with her pretty quickly. I would say, yeah.
And what about the Earth Kingdom?
I'm Earth and Fire.
Earth
on the day,
fire.
but those are. I'm definitely not water, and I'm not air. Very, very much not those two. Okay. But yeah, fire and earth. It kind of depends on the day. I'm a mix of both of them. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Hello, what's your name?
Oh,
Chrislyn.
Chrislyn.
You had a hat on earlier.
Yeah, I took it off because
it is huge.
I'm really nervous. Have a great time. So my question is for Toph. So Sokka and Toph had this little cute relationship because Toph was so in love with him.
I know.
And then in Legend of Korra, Toph ended up having these 2 twin grandsons who resemble Sokka so much. So I think they.
I've mentioned this a couple times this week, and I will say it again for those who haven't heard me. Sokka would love Suki, whatever, so much. Nothing happened during that window. However, we know she passes early. Therefore, there is time of grieving, there is time of friendship and supporting in that grieving, and then perhaps something else grew momentarily, both emotionally and maybe physically, inside of Toph. So yeah, we don't know.
Maybe we'll get to find out more information in the movies. Maybe.
Or Mike and Brian will never let anybody know what they actually
Maybe
have.
not.
So
No, we're
they
gonna find
do
out.
that.
We're gonna find out
Oh
something.
yeah?
I hope so. I hope so.
Yeah. And I just want to say thank you to both of you and like everybody from the show because it also helped me too. Just like the girl said from earlier, it helped me go through a lot. It was.
Well, I'm glad.
Well, I'm glad
That's
we
the
were
whole
there.
point. That's
I'm
the
glad
point,
we were
isn't
there.
it? That's what art should do.
Guys, you know
That's what
what?
TV should
Thank you
do.
so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Chrislyn. Hello.
How's it going, guys? My name is Francis.
Hi,
What's up,
Francis.
I just want to say thank you. And for Dante, I want to say thank you for me being Filipino. You really meant a lot to the community because on the debut, you were a comic book artist, or you wanted to be a comic book artist. And right now, I'm a graphic designer. I work at the Museum of Fine Arts. And in terms of that, I know you're also heavy in hip hop. You know, like you were in Def Comedy Jam, poetry, breakdancing. And you know, rewatching a lot of like the Avatar, you see Zuko breakdancing in some of his fights. Does that kind of like incorporate a lot of your personality, like Rufio?
I don't know how they did that, but yeah, I don't know. You know, we never know. Like Mike Bryan created the show, but we were there as they were creating it, so they had cameras in the room for a lot of the early recording just to kind of get our expressions and to kind of, you know, they're developing the character as we're developing the character. So I'm sure some things were inspired by, you know, the conversation of art goes back and forth. So I don't know. But I love that you're a graphic designer, and good luck on the journey. I mean, I love the debut. That character was partially inspired by another artist who's the creator of Johnny Bravo, who's a Filipino artist. So they're the director of the film, and him went to school, college together. So that character was partly inspired by that. That's why he was a comic book artist. Yeah.
Oh, so I have one last question. At the Def Comedy Jam, like you were there with like Mos Def and stuff like that. Like, did you ever have the time to like chop it up with them?
Oh yeah, Black Dante. I'm LA Dante. He's New York Dante. You know, Mos is a very cool guy. I have some mutual friends. You know, he's just an amazing talent, and just I respect him. He's definitely top 5 MCs all time.
Oh yes,
for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
All right, where are we at, guys? We might.
Last one?
Yeah, last one. And then
one.
I want to take a picture with everyone in the room, so don't run away after we answer this last one.
Okay, last question.
Okay, go for it.
I'm kind of nervous. I'm sorry. It's like the
It's all
first
good.
time I've ever done something like this.
And you're the last question. I'm just kidding.
Rock with it.
Anyways, I remember hearing before the voice actor for Azulla, she said she would never recreate that one scene at the end, and I was wondering, I'm not sure if it was like for you because you were really young and during the show or the recording, right, like 12, but I wanted to ask like if there's ever been just like a time in the recording of Avatar where you're just like, this just like feels really weird to do, like I don't know how to say this, but like more of a, it was really hard for me to record this, not like physically but mentally.
Yeah, for Toph, I mean, we see maybe a couple of softer moments in Tales of Ba Sing Se, and the library where, you know, she can't save Appa. But aside from that, she really doesn't open up too much. We mainly get the blind joke. So there wasn't too much that I feel like was hard, like emotionally, mentally, because we saw more of her. That first episode was where the most chaos happened for her, I feel like, as far as breaking away from her family, like choosing to leave, like all that stuff. But we didn't really get to sit in any of that for too long. So I don't think I had too many where it was like emotionally a lot. But you?
I mean, we had went through a lot of different things. You just kind of go with it, you know? You just allow yourself, I said earlier, like just allow yourself to kind of go there. I mean, it's not always, you know, it's not, the acting's great, it's fun, people love things and stories we're a part of. Part of the job is to kind of go through the story and even hit the parts that are the most uncomfortable. That's the job, you know? And so, yeah, there's a lot of moments where Zuko is down and depressed and sad or yelling at the top of his lungs or just, you know, and I was going through a lot of stuff at that time also, and the part of the art, part of the job is trying to bring those things that you're going through into the, you know, through the art. kind of exercise your demons through doing the role. And yeah, so you know, so you learn to not run from it and run into it, and that's part of the job. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for joining us for the Avatar panel.
Yeah, let's do a picture, guys. If you mind taking it for us? Thank you. You're the best. We'll come down here, and if you guys, well, we can get most of y'all, but you guys in the front here, if you want to be in it, maybe just squeeze in a little bit. And then we'll be at our table for the rest of the afternoon. If you want to come say hi, ask your other questions.
Thank you so much for joining us. Today's panel was so much fun, especially since I got lots of questions. Love you guys. If you haven't had a chance yet, just take a second, like, subscribe, and turn notification bell. Comment down below, share with your friends. And if you like what I do, want to help me keep connected with you better, check out my Patreon page and social media links, as well as help keep me caffeinated with the PayPal Buy Me a Coffee link. Love you guys. Remember, let it go and keep moving forward. And come back for more from Anime Feast. So much more to share. Love you guys. Have a magical day. Bye.